Hi guys, can you hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, there is so much stuff I want to tell you about, so I will just jump right into it. But real quick, so just raise your hand. Who runs a business? Who thinks he or she runs a business in this room? Okay. A freelancer, so even if you don't call yourself a business, if you're a freelancer, so basically not getting paid by our monthly paycheck. So freelancers here. Okay, so it's good number, yeah. So many of these things, I hope that they will be useful for all of you, even if you're just like in a normal job. So yeah, so let's jump into it. Next slide. Yeah, this is just to give you some numbers. So hopefully this is a sign that we're doing something right in our business. So you can see in the first 3 years, Jana on her own was organizing just about 10 weddings per year. And now this year we managed to book 100 weddings. So this is like 10 times the number of weddings what we were doing in the beginning. And we hope that a lot of it is because we streamline things and automate it. This is how we start our job description. So when we put a job ad online for a new wedding planner or some other people to help us out, this is the first line you will read in our job description. Work when, where, how much you like. So, and of course, this is not 100% possible for every business out there. And even for us, this is not 100% possible, but we have very little constraints. And I hope to show you or to tell you a couple of things how we achieve that. Yeah, so the topic is streamline and automate your business, your remote business. And some of you might think right now, okay, wait, people, isn't it the goal of automation to get rid of people? And many businesses think like that, right? So when I was a software developer working on huge projects with tens of millions of euro budget, and some owners, some CEOs openly told me, look, you're here to introduce this new cool software which will automate everything. My goal is to fire 300 people by the time you introduce this software. I'm like, okay, this is your business, do whatever you like, but the way we see it in our company, automation means just automating all the monkey work, so basically all the manual stupid tasks that a normal person cannot be doing on and on without going, you know, crazy. So we want to automate all the stupid work, so our people, our partners, our freelancers can focus on really meaningful work, so basically creative work which only people can do, more complex work, and also dedicating their time to work with the clients to keep it personal. So, yeah. One of the things when you want to streamline your business, and again, this won't be possible for every kind of product, every kind of service out there, of course. Sometimes people still have to be paid by time. So you work 1 hour, you get paid so and so much euro, or you work 1 day. But at least try to find things where you can pay your employees, your freelancers, maybe even just setting targets or bonuses for yourself, if it's just you, to get paid for results. So just to give you a couple of specific examples. So the wedding planners who work with us, we don't pay them for time. So we pay them for each wedding sold. So when they sell a wedding, they get a commission. So when they finished planning this wedding, they get the other part of commission. When the client leaves a positive review on Facebook or wherever, they get a bonus, and so on and so on. So this means we don't have to control how much time they work. We really don't care. Like some of them in a job interview, they ask like, how many days of holiday do I get? I'm like, yeah, how many days do you want? Like, it's up to you, right? So if you want to make more money, if you want to sell more weddings, just invest more time. If you feel like you know, going to a doctor appointment or to gym in the middle of the day before, because you feel like it, just do it. Like, don't ask us for permission. So this is what I think is one of the key things you should try in your business wherever possible to pay people for results. Yeah, another example maybe to make it more specific is in marketing. So when someone publishes, so one of our marketing freelancers, when she publishes an article or not a blog post, and we measure like how powerful is this blog, and we pay her a bonus depending on this publication, how powerful this is. Next. Communication. So I will talk quite a lot about communication because this is super important, especially in a remote business. As you can imagine, it's not the same. I mean, we have great technology, we have all these video conferences and everything, but still nothing can replace this direct human contact, sitting side by side and doing something. So this is why I have a few slides coming up just about communication, because I think more than half in your business is about communication, how you communicate with your employees, with your partners, how you communicate with your clients, basically marketing, you can call it. So one of the principles we always try to follow is try to visualize your communication, whatever this is. So, I mean, if we take purely textual medium, like an email without screenshots or anything, you have to consider that words used, this is already an abstraction, like you put a word people have to understand, but even if you don't use any graphical like aids, it's really difficult. So text on its own has only about 20% of power. So to communicate a message, that means you have to write 5 times more words compared to face-to-face communication. So visuals can be anything, right? So even if you just put data in the table, a small one, doesn't matter. If you put screenshots, you can record the videos of your screen. This is super easy. So record a video, explain something in the mic, and send it, right? So always try to visualize your communication in a remote based business. So you probably know this guy, Confucius. Tell me and I will forget. Show me and I may remember. Involve me and I will understand. So this is what my previous slide was about. Try to show people something, not just write it. Doing is better than documenting. This is another principle. So if there is a task you want to give someone or even for yourself, and I'm sure many of you know, you try to put some guidelines together, some processes, whatever, and the next day it gets outdated. So you have to update it. So I believe if a person understood a task and they understand what they need to do and they do it frequently enough, so I will say roughly at least once a week, you don't need to provide any documentation for that. You just start doing it with them and repeat it, improve it, and if there is something new, again, you just discuss it. Of course, again, there are exceptions to every rule, so there may be some fields of work where you do need documentation, maybe some, I don't know, some medical fields or wherever, some very technical fields you need documentation, but for most tasks, documentation is, I believe, is not really necessary. Asynchronous basically means not at the same time. So you probably know, those of you who worked in big companies or any companies, you have these meetings like weekly meetings and you get in and you have 5 people, 10 people just sitting here and someone talks about something. So this is all happening in the same time, or people trying to organize calls at the same time. And especially in a remote-based business, we have different time zones. So it's super difficult to get people at the same time and the same even virtual room to talk about something. So we mainly use asynchronous way of communication. That means things like chat, voice messages, which are now really popular. You see people just recording it on their phone like this and sending it. So you just send the message and the other person can pick it up whenever they feel like it and just go on with their task. So reserve real-time communication on a call, on a group call, only for really important things, when you really need people to be in the same place at the same time. Yeah, this might look a bit cryptic, but this is about how many people should talk to how many people. So the best, I think, especially if you're a small business, try to talk to people one-to-one. So there is a formula which says the importance of a message, like an email, for example, decreases with the number of recipients. So that means the more people you send your message to, the less important it becomes. And I would argue this is exponential. So if you tell someone face to face, they know it's for them. They have to understand and they have to reply. But if you send a mass email to 5 people, they're like, oh, okay, this is just some group message. So even if it's the same thing you want to tell many people, and if it's not too many, try to do it one by one, just even by copy pasting the same message into your chat application or whatever. And only sometimes when it's really necessary, send these mass emails. And even then try to do it more structured. Like what I often do, I use Google Forms. I just send like a quick survey, like give me your input for this and this, and you receive structured feedback and not just an open email like, hey guys, can you tell me about this? And then you wait for weeks and they reply all different things to you. And many-to-many, again, if this is like for a group call, if you really have to put many people who should all talk to each other, discuss something, yeah, put them on a call, like on Skype or some other tools, but try to avoid it. This is a big time waster, okay? Internal emails, and I have to emphasize internal emails within your organization, try to kill them. It's not good. It's just email was invented. This is just a simulation of the normal letters. So we had these written letters on the paper and people exchanging them. This is how email was creating, but we have so much better tools now. Big companies are trying now to eliminate emails. So in your inbox, you have all these emails and there's just no order, right? So they're all looking the same. You don't know, is it this project or that project? Is it important? Should do it now? They're all mixing up. Try not to do it. Of course, if you have external emails, sometimes, yeah, it's okay to forward it to your colleagues or whatever, but try not to use email. Try to use like all these project management tools where you have task-oriented communication, or just even just normal WhatsApp chat is even better. So this is another rule we follow. Encourage mistakes. So if your people who work with you, if they're afraid to make mistakes, it really blocks your workflow. So if every time one of your freelancer employees has to ask you something, to wait for your approval, to check something, it blocks their work. And some people do it on purpose, to be honest. They just, okay, yeah, I'm not sure, I need to ask this person, okay, I will come back in 2 days. But just encourage them to make these mistakes, because even if they do make mistakes, if it's not a really bad one, it will be easier to correct it afterwards when it happens. And believe me, it will happen not that often as you might think. It's still much more efficient to fix this mistake and have a real example how to prevent the future, rather than trying to prevent every single mistake that might happen. So encourage mistakes. Okay. Consistency over perfection. We all know perfect is enemy of good. So there is no such thing as perfect. Like it's just some arbitrary thing you have on your horizon, you should strive for it, but there is no such thing as you can chase it forever your entire life. So it's better to start with something. This is what we heard in the panel. There is no perfect plan, just start it. And if you do it consistently, you will automatically improve it. To give you one example, so we were hesitating to start doing our social media. We were looking like for experts and taking courses and doing this and analysis. And then we realized, hey, we are now thinking about it for over a year now just to start it. Let's just do it. And now we started doing it consistently and we just improve it as we go. So there is no secret formula. Just start doing it and do it consistent. This is much more better. Getting shit done. So this is something I always have to remind myself, and you can see this is underlined, right? Because for many things, and this kind of has a connection to the previous thing, consistency over perfection. So many things, they're already good if you just do them. So the variation in quality, how you can do a task, you will be surprised it's so little. You just need to do it, right? So I don't know, an example, maybe if you need to do some research, and if you're like me, you're sitting here and trying to create these perfect data structures and tables, how I should do the data research and so on. But then you realize if I spend all this time actually doing the research, I will probably have so much more done already. So try to get things done. Focus over multitasking. So some of you might have heard attention is the most important currency in our generation. So it just all the companies, all the ads companies, all the media companies, social media, they're all fighting for our attention. There is so much distractions, all these pop-ups coming on your phone and everywhere. So attention is very important thing. You need to control where you put your attention. So, and multitasking, when I'm talking about multitasking, of course, especially if you run a business, you will always have many tasks to take care about. But I'm talking about not doing multitasking on minutes or hours level, not switching between things every few minutes and doing this and that. This is just such a time waster. So what I do, I pick one thing that is important to me for the next few weeks or even months, and every day I start with this thing. And only when I get really bored or I'm exhausted, I will do other things until I finish the first one. So this is my approach to it. Next one. Outsourcing versus doing it yourself. Really tricky question. We continuously ask ourselves, okay, should we do it internally ourselves? Should we find some freelancer to do it? So really tricky question. So there are a few ways to decide how to do it. So if it's a one-off thing, so if you only need to do it like once in a year or maybe 2-3 times in a year, and you can do it, you have the skills for that, do it yourself, right? If it's something really important and you can do it, and especially if it's not too often, try to do it yourself. If it's some repetitive thing, or rather where you need a specialist, to do something and you don't have the skills, and it's easy to control the results. So you basically can see, okay, the job they've done, again, let's take data research as an example. They do some research, they can see, okay, yes, they filled out the data, it looks more or less reasonable. If you can control the end result, outsource it. If it's difficult, if you will be spending so much time actually controlling the results of this person, because it's not you, you don't know if they're honest, especially at the beginning. If you're spending so much time on checking the results, maybe it's not the best thing to outsource it. Opportunity over plan. Again, relates to what the guys discussed in the panel. Plans are good. Like, you need plans to actually get stuff done, at least short-term plans for a couple of months, let's say. But one example from our work, so we had a plan for a few years now to add Greece to our destinations for weddings. And then we started to look for people online and making plans to travel there. And then one of our wedding planners for Ireland, her name is Lisa, she decided to move to Malta. And we were like, okay, this is a good opportunity. She's moving to Malta. Many people from UK, they like to get married in Malta. So let's just use this opportunity and introduce Malta first. So we put Greece inside, we changed our plans. So this is one of the examples where it's better to take opportunity rather than to stick to a plan just because you decided it ages ago. Okay. For those of you who are fans of Futurama, so this is not an exact quote, it's just from my memory, but if you know this guy, so he once said, I prefer to solve problems when they happen, right? So this is related to the encourage mistakes point. So you will be surprised, like so many problems you anticipate, and this is good. It's okay to anticipate problems, but it doesn't mean you have to solve them in advance. So many problems, again, it's better to solve them and more efficient when they actually happen. So two things, so if you anticipate a problem in your business, two things you need to consider. What is the worst case scenario if this problem occurs? So what is the biggest damage that will happen if this problem actually occurs? And the second thing you need to consider is how likely is it that it will happen. So if these two things are low, so the worst case scenario, you can still correct it somehow, and the probability is really low, forget about this problem. Just wait for it to happen, maybe it will not happen at all. Of course, you still have to be careful with really critical problems to prevent them in advance. Do you know this guy, who this is? Do you know him? No? This is Bruce Lee. This is the only man in the world who kicked Chuck Norris's ass, right? So you should listen to him, what he says. He's a great guy. So most of you know him as a fighter, right? But he was a philosopher as well. And he said once, it's not the daily increase, but a daily decrease. Hack away the unessential. And for those of you who might be just starting your business or your freelance job, yeah, maybe you're even struggling to increase something like more ideas, more clients, more things to do, new streams of income and so on. But believe me, as soon as your business will take off even a little bit, you will be bombarded with all these ideas from inside. So what can I do? Like all the different ideas, what I can do in my business, all the clients, all different people want working with you or like sell you their services. Try to focus on one thing. Ask yourself, what will bring me stability in my business in long term? What will bring me sales in short term as well? So how can I sustain? So focus on these things. Don't try to do too many things at once. Okay, now I want to talk about automation a little bit. So unfortunately, I had to realize that it's really difficult to talk about it. So I will probably have a meetup tomorrow or these days where I can actually demonstrate how to automate a couple of things in your business, but I will still give you a couple of examples. And to emphasize, so all of the automation we do, or most of it, it does not require programming. So this is all the graphical tools you can use to automate your business. One really important principle when you want to automate something in your business, so before you automate anything, try to eliminate things. This is, again, going back to this lot, hack away the unessential, because the worst thing you can do is waste time on automating something that you really don't need. And I experienced it so many times, like businesses spending millions of years on automating something, then nobody uses it because just, yeah, they didn't analyze their business well enough. So try to simplify things first and only automate what's really necessary, repeating things that happen every day or at least every week. Okay, so now a couple of examples. So what we have automated already in our business. So it's quite simple. So if you go to our website and you submit an inquiry, you want to get married, let's say in Italy, we automatically create a record in our sales funnel or CRM system, whatever you want to call it. Our wedding planner receives an email so they can talk to client directly. We also create a subscriber in MailChimp, so we don't need to synchronize all this list, and we can email people sort of cold inquiries, basically. So this is one example. Another one, so when we sell a wedding, so when the client says, okay, guys, I'm happy to book, we unsubscribe this person from MailChimp, so we don't spam people who already paid us for the service. There is no need to send them newsletters. So we automatically unsubscribe this person. I have to admit, I haven't done the last two things, but I'm working on it. So we will automatically send the contract to the client to sign it. And once they sign it, digitally, of course, we automatically create a client record in our accounting software, which is QuickBooks. So this is all automated. Next one. No. Yeah. Another one. So as we got more and more popular and we are appearing on Google and everything, so many wedding venues, but also other wedding suppliers like photographers and florists and so on, they started to contact us like, hey guys, can we work with you, this and that. And what I said, look, I'm just tired, you know, like getting all this data from them, talking to them. So I created a form. They can fill out this form online, and that automatically creates a record with pictures and all the pricing information in our database. So we are not even involved in this process anymore. So all we do, we review all these new entries. Okay, there are like 5 new photographers who want to work with us in Italy, and we just check, okay, they're good enough, they're pricing, and we keep them. So this is automated now as well. And this is just rough, methodology I use, how I automate it. There are like endless different ways to do it, but first you analyze your business, so what's going on in your business. And if it's a small business, you probably can skip this part. You already know what's going on, you know all the processes in your business. So then you model it. You just sit down and just draw some diagrams on the paper. If this happens, okay, and then this person needs to be notified and so on. So you do this, and only then, if it looks good to you, you automate it. So using the tools I will mention to you or demonstrate in the meetup. And then you obviously test it. Please test what you automate, whatever this is. Because if you don't test it and then you start using it over the next days, weeks, you can create some damage and you have to manually fix things. So always test what you automate. And then it just goes in cycles again and again. You analyze and you improve things. You do in your business and automate again. Oh, yeah, you can't really, yeah, this is bad. You can't really see, can you see all? No, you can't. All the logos, yeah? Okay. So it's just the tools we use most in our business. So this is all kind of stuff like, I will read to you what you can't see here, I guess. Like, can you see WordPress? No, you can't, no? No, like there is WordPress, and in the middle, actually the most important tool we use, you can't see it. It's called Airtable. It's a great tool. Yeah, we also use Zapier. So Zapier, take note of this. This is the automation tool. Like there are a couple others on the market, but this is one of the best. It's still quite easy to use, but really flexible. We use Discord. It's a gaming, it's a communication tool for gamers, but it's really good, much better than Skype. Yeah, and all the other usual things, like we use Skype for external calls with our clients, MailChimp, Snagit, yeah, all the other things. I think it's time for questions, no? Yeah, so I will announce this meetup on the board. So if someone wants me to see how we actually use this tool, how we structure our business around this tool, how we use them and automate things in our business, I will demonstrate it in the meetup. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, thank you for your attention.